Hey y'all, it's time for another Tuesday Tally. I'm going to attempt for the 6th time to start this video. It seems like today is the day of interruptions and that I'm not ever going to get through this video. So let me just jump right into it and show you everything that is going on right now. So we have the remnants of everything that happened yesterday's video with resetting the green stalk. And let's just catch up on the tomatoes. Everything here seems to still be doing pretty good. I do open up the garage every day for these guys to get some sunlight, but I'm leaving the grow lights on pretty much all night for them every day. This one, guys, Woolly Kate, is still giving me trouble. Now this one has not died yet, but I'm not feeling too good about it. I don't know if it's gonna make it. I also have one over here that was a little bit behind the others, but it seems to be doing pretty good. I've got potatoes that I still need to get planted, and those grow bags will get filled with those. The lettuce that's here has been doing pretty good. It still has not started to bulk yet, and it is not bitter. I do taste it every now and then. I've got 2 seedlings left that did not get planted. My last 2 Woolly Kates and a speckled Roman. So if that Woolly Kate doesn't make it, I still got this one hanging on. I'm going to go ahead and get it transplanted into something bigger. I just don't think Woolly Kate likes to be transplanted. If I lose it again, I'm going to seed it directly into the pot and see what happens with that. I've got these flowers that still need to get transplanted. This was the last straggling corn. I'm not really sure why I still have it. It's kind of fun to see where this one is right now compared to the ones that did get transplanted out into their containers and are now producing ears. I still have all of these flowers that I started and have yet to find a place for. Just a quick update on the new green stalks. The potatoes have all come up out of the soil, and they just, I don't know, they're doing what potatoes do. The seeds that I did start in here, I've got some bunching onions that I started in a couple of the pockets, and then I transplanted a couple of herbs that I had started from seed. Those are all doing pretty good. These guys are getting watered, I would say, every 2nd to 3rd day. The soil is staying pretty moist, although on the top it looks like it's really dry. Once you reach down in there, it's doing pretty good. I just don't want those potatoes to rot, so I'm not, trying to overwater them, just pampering them a little bit. I still need to do tons of cleanup over here and a little bit of trimming. I'm gonna kind of skip a little bit, go this way for a minute. I've got pole beans. I just kind of sat them over here, and you can see they are starting to flower. These guys are nutrient deficient, so I'm going to be giving them a good shot of kelp meal, and I don't know what else I'm going to give them, but I'm definitely going to give them the kelp because they could use the extra nitrogen. I reseeded some herbs in these pots. It looks like somebody came over here digging in this one. I don't know if that's just a depression from the water from the hose, or if I got a critter coming over here digging again. I started some orange thyme and some garlic chives here. More beans that are starting to flower. You guys have seen this bed a million times. It does need some fertilizer. The coleus there are looking a little hungry. I'm going to go ahead and give them a little shot of something too. I'll do something water soluble so that they can get it quickly. I did start 2 more containers. I found the square container, guys. I had to go a little bit further to another Home Depot to find them. They had 2 on the shelf, and so I took both of them. So if I happen to find another one that I can use in another season, then it would basically just round out this section. But I think for now I'm good with the ones that I have. These beans are all starting to flower. They did get a little bit of fertilizer, I would say 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a liquid fertilizer just so they can get an extra shot of nutrients while they are producing. But all of the varieties are producing, and these are all different varieties in every container. I did a little bit of shopping. Wasn't really planning on getting anything, but I stopped off at Home Depot, and I also went by the All Native Garden Center, and I picked up a couple of things that I'm going to drop in to a few beds around the yard. Looks like all of the Irish cobbler potatoes are up above the soil except this one and is this an Irish cobbler? Yeah, and this one. So out of 14, I think it's pretty good that I only have 2 that have not come up yet. It's still possible that they may come up. They may not have had the eyes as developed and pre-sprouted as some of the others, like this one and this one, because you'll see a couple of these others here are quite far behind. So I'm not giving up on them yet. We'll see. And then the other 3 that have not come up, these 2 and then this larger one, those are Austrian crescent. So those have not come up yet. So now I'm going to go in our normal direction and show you what's going on around here. I've tried going the opposite direction and coming back around, and it just doesn't flow as well for me. For some reason, my brain can't process that direction with the way the garden is laid out. So we're going to keep going this way. The peppers that are in here are doing pretty good. It's about time for me to take off the cages. They are reaching the tops, and I don't want them to start pushing up through there. When we get to the greenhouse, you'll see how some of the kales are pushing up through the cages because I didn't take them off in time. I'll just go ahead and break those off. The okra is strengthening and now standing on its own, looking pretty good. Couple of the native plants that I bought are sitting where I think I'm going to plant them. I'm not sure. I am debating. I know I'm going to be taking this guy out, and I'm probably going to take this guy out. I'm not really 100% sure, but I think I'm going to be setting one of the green stalks with the potatoes in this area. So I have to take out both of these if I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I won't have enough space to walk into this area. Now, my controls for my sprinklers are back here. This is our good access to the air conditioner when we need to get there. And it's also my little hideout spot to sit in some shade and take some notes. So I can't have this space too congested, so something here would have to come out. I still need to get some trimming done on these hedges and also plant the replacement that has been sitting down there. It has probably rooted through the pot, but I'll get along to that sometime. My kids are on spring break this week, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get anything done during the week, but I'm going to do my best. I've got quite a few plants that I need to get in the ground. I may get some of them in the ground in the evenings after I'm finished doing some work. Thinking about taking out these pentas I'm just not liking the leaf spotting that's going on them. I may just chop them all the way back and give them another chance. Not sure. My irises are coming back up. That's exciting because they do kind of disappear a little bit. These guys are Florida natives, so they don't completely die back, but they do shrink in size a little bit, I'm finding. I'm a little confused about what's going on with the beautyberry. I had trimmed the beautyberry back, but it's looking like the lawn service may have come in and hacked off a bit more of it than what I had done. I don't like the way it's looking right now, but I mean, it'll come back. We'll see how that works. More hedges to trim when I do the others. I'll get these done. I'm thinking about taking out the porterweed, but I have to know what I'm going to put here because it's a big open space. Now, one option that I do have, if I take out those porterweeds there, is when I put the green stalk over here, I can leave this path for quick access, but I could also bring in some gravel and make a shorter path that comes in for me to be able to access the back of this section. I don't know. I'd rather have plants there than rocks, but we'll see, of course, what I end up doing, because I never know what I'm gonna do. This hibiscus is back in bloom. I had said that I was considering taking those two hibiscus out, but now I don't know, because it's blooming again, and when they start blooming, I want to keep everything that's blooming. Got some ageratum in here that needs to be cleaned out. I'm not gonna let all of that stay. The green stalk that has been reset. We did a little bit of cleanup over here, and it's looking good. I pulled out quite a few Ruellia that were growing back here. This bed was originally all Ruellia, so it's taken a while to get it out of here. And then because it's such an aggressive plant, those roots spread underground like spider webs, and they will pop up here and there and everywhere. So I'm just trying to keep that cleaned out. I'm gonna get some herbs planted in the blocks here, but I'm thinking I want to put some squash in these too, and I'll probably just pop some seeds in there. This side will get much more sun than the other squashes that are planted on the east side of the garden. Flowers are blooming nicely. I did start training the sweet potato vine back up the trellis. It's been sprawling all over the ground for some time now. I think we are beyond the cold that will take it out, although we are still getting some temperatures in the 40s and 50s at night. And I've intentionally left it down on the ground instead of retraining it until we can get past those cold temperatures, because the sweet potato vines just don't like that. We've got a couple strawberries forming here. A couple more strawberries, couple more strawberries. So these will be a good little snack for someone who decides to come and work out in the garden this next couple of weeks. There's a few that are down there. Can't really complain about that. True Friendship is back in bloom. And I had meant to prune this down a little bit more before it started to bloom, but it's gonna stay like this now. I've got to get back here and do a little bit of cleanup. I know I've said it in a few Tuesday tallies, but this is just way too much fern going on here. I just can't do that. We've got some mulberries forming. The tree hasn't completely leafed out yet. but got some fruit forming. And that's exciting because I have not gotten more than 2 berries off of this tree since I put it in here. The birds sit around and they wait for the berries to start ripening and they take them. So I'm hoping that this year, with it leafing out a little bit later with our extended winter, that I'll get some berries. I'm hoping, at least. If you remember last year, my intention was to bring this height down before it leafed out and we missed it. This year I've been so busy working on other things, trying to expand the vegetable garden, that I completely forgot to do it. And so now it's leafing out and fruiting and I can't trim it now. We'll see if I can remember to do it next year. Celery it's getting a little warm for the celery, so it's starting to turn bitter. I'm gonna pull most of these stalks down and just leave these guys, give them a little fertilizer so that they can produce some new stalks for me later on. I'll probably wait until midsummer to pull the rest of these off. I am still nibbling on them, even though they are a little bitter, with a little ranch or blue cheese. I mean, they're still edible, but that taste is just so strong. It's a lot to take on. These containers, I need to figure out what I'm going to put in them. I'm kind of considering beans, not sure. I did go ahead and clean out all of the peas that were in here because it's just getting too hot. I'm not going to get the production, so I don't want to waste the time feeding and nurturing something that's not going to produce for me. The tomato seedlings that I put into this pot are doing okay. They are due for some fertilizer. I'll go ahead and put a water soluble fertilizer in those. Let's see if there's anything new going on over here with the orchids. I have not been over here a couple weeks, so we got some blooming going on. This one I believe is a Ludicea, something like that. I can't remember the name of it. And it is blooming. And look, we got some flyers open up. These are going to be so pretty when they open because there's so many blooms here. Got blooms here. Don't know if we'll get any fruit, but we got blooms. And there's a few up here. Not a whole lot. I've not gotten any fruit from this tree yet. But, I mean, only time will tell. We've got some little round carrots here. It's time for me to do a thinning, so I'll come through and snatch out quite a few of those. Got some lettuce that is just tossed into this pot. Let's see if we've started to go bitter out here, because these guys get a lot of sun. No, it's still edible. Still really good. That's the Mexican sour gherkin that's growing in there. I'm hoping that it'll just twine itself up the tree and be a cute little thing that we can nibble on. The fuchsias are still hanging on, even though it's getting kind of warm out here. They're going to start to die off soon. This lettuce is still hanging on. I have not tasted that one yet. It's out in the open a little bit more, so it may be bitter already. Got a tomato here. I don't remember which one this is. It's either red currant or red cherry. I think it's red cherry, but it's growing nicely. just another walk through the corn. These are the mums. I believe these mums are on year 3 that they've been in the ground. So if you're buying mums in the fall, if you get them in the ground soon enough that they can root properly, you can get them to live on in your garden. And these are the best looking ones that I have. I don't have to do a whole lot of pruning on them. I do come in and clean them up at the top once a year. You'll see some of my others, they produce growth underneath, and it's really weird how they push new growth. It's a little bit harder to keep them clean, but those are nice. The corn is doing good, tasseling. Gotta come out here and do a little bit of hand pollination just to make sure that all of the ears fill out nicely. This is the first one to push ears, so you'll see those tassels blowing in the wind up there. That is how the corn is pollinated. It will drop its pollen down into the foliage and it should get all of the ears. I'm not trusting it, even though I have about 16 in there. They should pollinate, but I'm not trusting it. I'm going to come out here and pull a little bit of that pollen off and drop it down into the silks. We've got a pole bean here that has decided that it doesn't really like the corn very much, so it's growing on this red maple. The red maple is just now starting to push buds and leaf out, so I'm okay with the beans being there. They won't be here for much longer, so I'll just let them do what they do. The foxglove is getting a little bit tired. It's getting warm out here. The collards are still doing good. I have not taken any of the covers off of the collards yet because I don't want them to be attacked by my little white butterflies that have made themselves very much at home out here. Let's see if we can find any corn ears forming on this set. I'm looking and I'm not seeing any. If you guys have a keen eye and you spot one that I don't mention, let me know. I'm always excited to see my corn. Mainly because it's one of those things, well, we've got tassels coming up, so we're going to have ears soon. It's just one of those things that nobody thinks that they can grow because it's such a large plant, but you can definitely grow corn in a container if your container is big enough and can hold enough water, because they are very thirsty and very hungry plants. This one is going to get some water soluble fertilizer right after I finish this video. And while I'm at it, I'll probably just go ahead and do all 3 containers. I don't think I have any tassels on this one yet. I'll take a look when I get around the other side, but it is needing some nitrogen. Flowers all out here are doing pretty good. The okra over here needs some water badly. I have not turned on the water over here in a couple days. I should probably do that when I reach that side. The sunflower is going out now, but it was a nice little surprise to have it there. The delphinium is just about done. It's getting way too hot for it here. These are short-lived flowers. I just like to put them into the garden to give our pollinators some variety. And I mean, it's nice to see them. I think they're really pretty flowers. We don't have very many flowers here that grow in this kind of form. I'm not sure if this is yin or if this is yang. I did lose one of these viburnums. It's just been really, really hard to keep the right level of nutrients over here, but it's flowering, so I'm pretty happy with that. My intention of having the yin and the yang so that I could get the blueberries on the plants failed when one of them decided to die. The orchid tree is doing really, really good. It is back in full bloom. And this is a tree that's only been here for maybe a year, year and a half. Not very long. It has put on nice growth. Looks like I got a tie down here that is strangling it. I need to get in there and take that tie off. But, I mean, it's not holding the tree back. The Vitex is not blooming right now. I'm not liking some of this browning and windburn that's going on with it. But our weather has been very, very unpredictable. The Vitex is a zone 9 and lower plant. I'm not really sure how low, but I know that we are zone 10 and I'm not supposed to be able to grow it. So the fact that it's got a little bit of sun and wind damage, you know, is not really surprising. I just want to make sure we don't have anything fungal going on, because some of these look like fungus. So I'll take a look at that and figure out what's going on. The Pittosporum is thirsty. The leaves are starting to curl up on it, and that's what's letting me know that it's needing a little bit of water. So I'll come out here and get the sprinklers on it so that it can have some drinks. The tropical sage is nice and tall. I would say this one is about 4.5 feet tall. Doing nicely. It is time to cut it back and feed it. It's been blooming for a little while now. Took off most of these snow peas yesterday and had them as a little snack. They are very tasty. Surprised that I'm even getting snow peas off of it at all, let alone this late with it being so warm. But we do keep getting these cold fronts that are running through and cooling us down at night. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at this Duranta and it looks like a little devil. I feel like I need to get some googly eyes and a mouth and just kind of stick them onto the front of it with those two pieces sticking right out the side there. I don't know. Don't mind me. The violas and pansies are getting tired. You can see that they're not as happy as they were. The petunia is doing fine. This is a Supertunia mini. I'm not sure which one, but it is a mini. I did get these watered yesterday. I noticed them having a hard time because I forgot to water them, and they look like they're not going to die on me, but who knows what the production's going to be. Do have one radish here that needs to come out. Let's go ahead and pull this guy. It is ready. I'm going to take that one out of there. Isn't that a pretty radish? Now, let me see which one this is. Oh gosh, I left my printers out here. So this is a pink lady slipper. Pink lady slipper. I think that's what that says. That's what that one is. I got that one out. This one looks like a French breakfast. Let me find this tag. Nope, this one is Crispy Crunch. Let's see. I don't know what Crispy Crunch is supposed to look like, but that definitely looks like a French breakfast with that shape. I don't know. I'm not going to pull that one yet. I'm wondering if I mixed up my tags with the Crispy Crunch and the French breakfast. But that level is definitely supposed to be Crispy Crunch. Now, French breakfast is supposed to be this one. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I am happy with this pink lady slipper. It's really nice. That's my finger with it. So it's a pretty big radish. The color is definitely pink. I don't know how it's showing up on the camera, but it's definitely a pink radish. We'll munch on this one and see how it is. These carrots are still looking pretty good. Let's see. I don't think we got any shoulders yet. Oh, we're starting to get shoulders. I don't know if you guys can see it. We're starting to get shoulders. I'm not expecting these to be very sweet. We've got a grass weed growing up in here. And I definitely don't want that in here. Get out. I'm not expecting these to be very sweet because it is quite warm. But if you remember when I planted these, I planted them so that I wouldn't have to thin them. So I'm just kind of checking for shoulders, and as I see them, I'll just pull them out and use them. This is a pretty nice sized carrot too. Let's see if I can get my hair out of the way and get you down in here. It's a pretty nice sized carrot. And I'm not even sure which varieties I planted, but they're just about ready. Blue Point Juniper is doing much better now that I've been putting the hose on it. It's starting to grow and fill out and not have so much dieback. Bougainvillea, of course, is still doing good. Now around here to my unruly Durantas that always need a trim. These guys grow much faster than you would expect. You can do them in topiary, but because they grow so fast, it's going to require a lot from you to keep them tame, as you can see. Everything over here just looks like it needs a fertilizer. Except Helen Von Stein. Helen Von Stein is looking great. I am definitely going to have to divide these guys at the end of the season. Got some rocks. There's something going on back here. I don't know what those are. This waffle plant still is not impressing me in this spot the way I thought it would. Got some blank space back here that I can use for some of the plants that I bought that are natives, just to fill in this space. The lavender is starting to go out because it's so hot. This rose, I'm not sure which one this is, but it is back in bloom. I do miss it every time it blooms though. These are more mums. These went in last season. Was it last season? Last season or the season before? I don't remember, but these are doing great. These are doing great. Haven't had to do a whole lot with them. The lantana is back, leafing out nicely and starting to bloom. It's the corn from the other side. Oh, I can show you the bloom on this hibiscus now that we've got one opening up. It's not fully open, but it's a very pretty hibiscus. Meteor Shower Verbena is still doing great. This Loropetalum back here is doing nicely. Is this Ruby? I think this is Ruby. It's doing better than any of my other Loropetalums are. I tend to lose Loropetalums. They don't seem to like it here for some reason in my yard. More Supertunias. Let's see what's going on here. I'm not seeing any ears forming on this container, but if I get in close here, you can see that we are tasseling. So the ears are coming. The ears are coming. This collard is being attacked by, looks like aphids. I am going to take this cover off and I'm going to give it some neem to try to save it. If it doesn't bounce back, I'm going to just pull it because I've got enough others in the yard. There's no need in me fighting with one. Or maybe I'll just leave it there and let the aphids have it, and maybe they'll leave my other stuff alone. So this is one of the mums that I was telling you. It pushes its new growth for some reason from weird places. And then it's really hard for me to trim out the weeds and everything else in it. But, I mean, it's alive. It's still doing. This one is the same thing. Same thing with those that are in there. Now, I've got beans growing here that are vining up this makeshift trellis. It's just an upside down tomato cage. Don't know if I'm getting beans yet, but it's vining, so I'll start checking on that one soon. I've got one grapevine starting to leaf out. I am a little bit concerned that the two on this trellis are dead, but I have been surprised by the grapevines in the past, so I can't give up on it yet. This is Makawa Yatsubusa, the Japanese maple, and if you look way down in the bottom, it's pushing new growth from the bottom. So we should have some new growth coming off of these upper stems pretty soon. On the orange, it looks like I'm starting to get some oranges. Some teeny tiny little possibilities here. This thing was covered in bees, so I'm pretty certain that these were pollinated well. I just don't know if any of this fruit is going to be food for us. We'll see what that happens with those as well. I still need to get out here and reseed the bean towers and hook up the drip to the one on the left. The squashes here are still flowering. These guys are not ever going to be as big as they should be because of the amount of shade that they sit in. They do get quite a bit of sun in the mornings. Now with the time change, it is probably 1 o'clock right now, so they're still getting sun. And the later we get into the winter, we actually get more sun on this side than typical. So they may start to catch up. I don't know. I don't know that they will, but it's possible. The pole beans here, I think these are pintos. They're not vining yet, but nor are the ones in the front that I had shown you earlier. The nasturtium decided to go ahead and bloom. This is the only one that I planted that is blooming. All of the others have started to die back. Let's take a look in the greenhouse and see. Man, these bunching onions are looking really good. Let's see what's going on in here. Hi, lizard. Oh, looks like Mikhail is getting tired. Looks like somebody's been in here digging. We've got lizards that live in here and enjoy eating the bugs. I'm gonna go ahead and take these cloches off while I'm in here because it is hot. It is extremely hot in here. So I'm gonna take these off and let these turnips and kohlrabis get some air. I think all the protecting that I can do has been done. If they don't make it at this point, It's not because they didn't have a cloche, because eventually these cloches are going to kill them. It is so hard to work with one hand. My soil level is dropping a lot in here, so I need to get in here and really work this space. But until I get these kohlrabi and turnips, which should already be coming out of here, but because they were so late going in, trying to fight with these rats, I mean, this is where I am. I'm going to uncover all of these guys. So the rats are definitely in here chewing on these, because this kale that was sticking out here was a full leaf, and below here were full leaves. Sorry, lizard, I didn't mean to scare you, dude. I'm not going to bother you. But, oh, got one more. But, I mean, they made it. They made it through that final planting. So I guess it was a good experiment to try caging them and planting mint with them. So when we get back to September, I'll have a little bit different strategy to start with and see if I can get my brassicas for us to eat and not for my greedy rats. Got some weeds down here in this one that need to come out, and I'll get to those. All right, I got these aloes that are ready to start going to their new homes. I'll just come in and break off some of these more damaged leaves and let my neighbors and the other people who said they wanted one come and take them. Get what you want. The button bush is doing pretty good. It has been drinking quite a bit, but it's staying hydrated better than it had been. I've got an opportunity to drop some of those natives into some pots that are just sitting over here empty, and I think that's the route that I'm going to go, is to put them in pots because they are pretty drought tolerant, being natives. Not a whole lot going on over here. I got some weeds that I need to pull out. Down here, the hostas are starting to come back. These are sun hostas, so they do tolerate the sun. There's a white butterfly. You might have seen it go past the camera. I'm not sure if it did or not. The trumpet vine is about ready for me to start training it back up the trellis now that the trellis has been repositioned for it. I cleared off all of the ripe Tabasco peppers yesterday. The Swiss chard is still doing good. The bulbing onions that are in there are not dead yet, so I'm hopeful. Coming around here, we've got the garlic struggling in this pot because it's not getting quite as much sun as it would like. The peppers are super thirsty today. These plants are loaded with peppers. There are so many peppers on here, I lost count. This is one plant, and there's more than 13 peppers on this one plant alone, so it's drinking a lot of water. This is also pretty heavy with fruit and still flowering, so I don't know if you guys can really see because of the shadows and such going on out here. Strawberries up here are doing pretty good. I dropped these in. I also dropped in some onion starts that I happened to find at Home Depot just to kind of fill in this bed for the time being. And of course the squash is super thirsty. So, you know what? Let me turn on the drip. Let's turn on the drip. That way that bed will actually get some water. I'm gonna get soaked here in a minute because this valve still needs to get replaced. But I rather let these beds start getting some water while I'm walking around here. Poor thing is thirsty. Not much going on over here. The birds have emptied their bird seed again. The bird bath is empty. Well, not really empty, but it needs to be washed. It's not really a whole lot going on down here. This desert rose still has not opened up a flower yet. It does continue to push out buds, but I'm not getting flowers from it. I'm not sure what's going on with that. The hibiscus is back in flower. I've got some, what's that stuff called? Milkweed growing here that seeded itself. Rio Somber Rose pushing new growth. Beautiful new growth. I've got, oh, here's the flower from this desert rose. It dropped it. It was doing really good. A couple more pieces of milkweed. And just the progress of the front bed. It hasn't stopped doing what it's doing yet. All in all, I think it looks pretty good. Oh, we got one of the mini roses in bloom. That's a pink one. This one I believe is yellow. That one's not quite ready to bloom yet. And then we've got more garlic over here. And collards under there that are still doing pretty good. So that's it, guys. That is the Tuesday tally. So lots of things changing, lots of things getting cleaned up, a lot of new stuff coming that's going to be added to the garden and repositioned in the garden. So stay tuned to see what else is happening out here. And until the next video, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Bye.